What happened?
In this video, I'll discuss how House Baratheon might be doomed and what it would mean for Gendry's fate in Season 8. So stay tuned for that. Hello everyone, welcome to Ultimate Book Maniacs, your one-stop for book and TV series reviews. I post new videos every Saturday at 7 p.m. IST or at 9:30 a.m. EST. So make sure to subscribe this channel. And if you wanna make sure you never miss a video, click the bell icon to turn on notifications. And I want to thank you Aaron Arguesius for contributing to my channel on Patreon. I have already discussed my theory on how Harrenhal might really be cursed and who put the curse on it in my Harrenhal's curse theory video. Anyone who became the Lord of Harrenhal met a tragic end, including Littlefinger. Now this video is inspired by the comment of this channel's patron Aaron Arguesius, who said, "What is in the blood of the Baratheon family that makes them die tragically? What is so powerful that Stannis, Renly, Robert all met horrible ends? The Red Woman wanted to burn Gendry and was able to conjure up visions in the fire from leeches draining his blood. The names called out by Stannis all died. Even Stannis' own daughter was burned alive because she had some power in her blood. What is in it?" That's a very good question, Aaron. I've already discussed the power in King's blood and how it can be used, etc. in my Craster's Sons and Blood Magic videos. The reason Melisandre wanted to burn Gendry and did burn Shireen eventually was because of the King's blood in them. But the most important thing is, despite having the Baratheon blood in him, Gendry is still alive. And in the books, so are Edric Storm and Maya Stone. And I know technically Shireen is still alive in the books, but I do believe that her fate will be the same as it was in the show. So what does Maya, Gendry and Edric have that the other dead Baratheons didn't? Or rather, what they didn't have that the other Baratheons did? Yes, it's the Baratheon name. Anyone with the name Baratheon has died, whether they had the Baratheon blood or not. Because Gendry, Maya and Edric were bastards, they didn't have the Baratheon name despite having the Baratheon blood in them. So legally, they weren't a part of House Baratheon. In order to check this theory, let's take a look at House Baratheon from its very beginning, or more specifically, how most of the Baratheons died. House Baratheon was created by Orys Baratheon, who was Aegon the Conqueror's fiercest generals and loyal friend. He slew the last Storm King Argilac the Arrogant, married his daughter Argilla Durrandon, and adopted the stag banner and house words, "Ours is the fury," of his wife's ancestral line, so creating House Baratheon and becoming the first Lord Paramount of the Stormlands. House Durrandon became extinct after this marriage, but the blood of the Durrandons still flows through House Baratheon's descendants' veins. Orys was taken captive during the First Dornish War, and his sword hand was chopped off before he was freed. Almost 33 years later, on his march home to Storm's End, Orys Baratheon died from the wounds he received during the battle with the Vulture King. This was the same year in which Aegon the Conqueror had also died of a stroke. It was not mentioned how Orys' son Davos Baratheon or his great-grandchildren Bormund and Jocelyn Baratheon died in the books. Bormund's son, aka Lord Boros Baratheon, was slain by Kermit Tully during the Dance of Dragons. Sir Lionel Baratheon had joined Sir Duncan the Tall in the trial by 7. It was not mentioned in the books how he died. Lord Lionel's son Ormond Baratheon, aka Robert Baratheon's grandfather, married the Mad King's aunt, thus merging the Targaryen blood into his bloodline. There were rumors that say that Robert Baratheon was allowed to sit on the Iron Throne because of the Targaryen blood in him. At least the Maesters were interested in the blood relations. What do you think about this? Do you think the rumors were true? Anyways, Ormond Baratheon was struck down by Maelys Blackfyre, the first of his name, during the War of the Nine Penny Kings, and he died in the arms of his son and heir, Stephen Baratheon. Stephen was Aerys's friend, and Aerys sent him to find a bride of noble birth from an old Valyrian bloodline for Prince Rhaegar. Stephen couldn't find a bride, but he did found a fool. Rumors said that Aerys was going to replace Tywin as a hand with Stephen on his return. On the return voyage, Lord Stephen's ship, Windproud, broke up in Shipbreaker Bay within sight of Storm's End, while his sons Stannis and Robert watched. Everyone aboard ship was killed, including Lord Stephen, his wife, and over 100 soldiers and sailors. Only the fool had survived. Aerys suspected Tywin had arranged his death for the fear of being replaced. And at the risk of sounding completely insane, I have to say I agree with the Mad King. His death does look suspicious. After his death, Robert Baratheon became the Lord of Storm's End, and almost 5 years later, after Robert's rebellion, Robert became the King of the Seven Kingdoms. And we all saw how Robert, Joffrey, Tommen, Myrcella, Stannis, Renly, and Shireen Baratheon died one by one on the show. I know what you're gonna say, that Joffrey, Tommen, and Myrcella were Cersei and Jaime's children, and I know that's true, but legally, they were still called the Baratheons. Joffrey was called Joffrey Baratheon instead of Joffrey Lannister. Same with Tommen and Myrcella. Even though they didn't have the Baratheon blood, they did have the Baratheon name. So as you can see, either all the Baratheon deaths mentioned were tragic, or their deaths weren't mentioned at all. There was no peaceful death of a Baratheon mentioned in the books. All the bastards of Robert are dead too, except for Gendry, Maya Stone, and Edric Storm. But since we are talking about the show, let's talk about Gendry. Gendry is still alive, but then Gendry is not a Baratheon yet because he was Robert's bastard son. Gendry was a blacksmith apprentice for Master Tobho Mott in King's Landing. After Ned's execution, he was given to Yoren to be taken to the Wall. He befriended Arya and Hot Pie on the way to the Wall. First, they were captured and taken to Harrenhal, and then they were captured by the Brotherhood without banners. Gendry was ready to leave Arya for the Brotherhood until they sold him to the Red Woman. She used the power in his king's blood to kill Joffrey, Robb, and Balon Greyjoy. Then Davos helped him escape before she could burn him for his blood. Then years later, Davos found him living again in King's Landing. Gendry went with Jon and the team beyond the Wall, where he was asked to run back to Eastwatch.
Get a raven to Daenerys. Tell her what's happened. You're the fastest. Go, now!
Gendry was last seen falling in front of Eastwatch and delivering the message to send a raven to Dany asking for her help.
Raven. We need to send a raven.
He didn't go with Jon and Dany to King's Landing for the Dragon Pit Summit, so he must have stayed at Eastwatch. In the season 7 finale, we saw Beric and Tormund on the top of the Wall. Gendry could have been in one of the buildings below. The horn was blown 3 times, warning everyone of the White Walker's approach. As you can see, there were 5 posts still left on top of the Wall. If Beric and Tormund were in that area, they might have survived, because they were obviously on top of the Wall when the Wall fell. Gendry could have been on one of the last watch posts. Assuming that Beric, Tormund, or Gendry survived, the first thing they would want to do is warn others. One might head towards Winterfell, while the others might head towards Castle Black or Shadow Tower. If Gendry arrives in Winterfell, there will be the Arya and Gendry reunion we've all been waiting to see for so long. And since Gendry technically saved everyone by sending the raven to Dany on time, Jon or Dany might want to reward him by legitimizing him as a Baratheon. Besides, It might also bring the House Baratheon followers to their cause. In the books, Robb legitimized Jon and named him his heir before his death. A bastard being legitimized won't be something new. It has happened before in Westeros. Despite being in danger many times, Gendry was able to survive the odds. But what happens once Gendry is legitimized? As you can see, House Baratheon seems to be doomed. Does this mean Gendry will die once he is legitimized and named Gendry Baratheon? What do you think about this theory? Don't forget to tell us in the comments. If you like this video, please click on the like button below, share the video and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day. Bye bye. See you in my next video.